Good evening, Fit and Well. I'm back, specs on, and it must be chat time. So this is part two of my new Strong series, and this is totally different from last week. In a second, I'm going to be joined by Daniel, who's the founder of award-winning Biosynergy, and we're going to talk all about protein shakes and supplements and how you can introduce them into your world if you want to, but ultimately we're going to answer your questions. Loads of you looping in, and I've just seen that Daniel's joined, so bear with me 2 seconds. In a second he'll send me a request and we will go live together. A live duel. If you haven't done last week's where I went live with Marv, you really need to go and check that out. It was such great fun. Here he is. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, look, we've both got specs on.
Actually,
means we're getting serious, Daniel.
yeah, absolutely.
It is. Let me just bring my camera up a little bit. Perfect. There we go. I've had to bring myself inside. I was getting too hot out there. I'm not going to moan, though. I'm not going to moan. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. We've got quite a few people jumping in, so we'll get started straight away. And I think the best way to do this is for you to kind of explain to everybody who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And that would be amazing.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, see, I love a live workout.
That comes out.
Get the guns out. I feel quite overdressed in my t-shirt and my skirt. I feel all posh and fancy.
Normally in your leggings.
I know, exactly.
And the headband.
Yeah.
It's great to have so many people joining, obviously. So back in the 1990s, I started Biosynergy 97. And it was really because I was the fat kid at school, went to university, discovered fitness. And then back in the 90s, there was like a lot of discussion about sports nutrition, but it was still a very infantile kind of industry. And looking around at the time as a new person into fitness, I wanted products that would work. And a lot of the stuff back in the 90s seemed to overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do was to create a brand that would be rooted in science, would be efficacious, and would be suitable for people at different life stages. So some people, just getting out of bed in the morning, that's a massive achievement, and other people, they're turning up to win the World Cup or turn up to win gold at the Olympics. But all of us are on a journey, and none of us know where that's going to lead. So we wanted to have a range of products that would be suitable for that whole journey. So whether you're starting today, or like yourself, you're a seasoned fitness veteran.
I like the word veteran. Actually, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, because I was saying to Marv last week, he went, "How old are you, Em?" I went, "You should never ask a woman her age." But I am 47, and I've been a fitness trainer for 7 years, but I had to start my journey somewhere. So I totally get where you're coming from. And obviously the clients that I work with are exactly that. I've got some that are gym bunnies that have always trained throughout their whole life, and I've got others that literally started my couch to workout program, which does what it says on the tin. And so that's why I love what you guys do, because you're not aiming at those ultimate gym bunnies all the time, which is why I think people get nervous about the whole protein thing. And so, to know your history on why you set it up, and for you to say you were that overweight kid at school, you were the one that wasn't the PE buff, that wasn't picked for sports. I was the same. I wasn't picked. I wasn't in the A team.
I wasn't even in the Z team.
Oh.
But and the other thing is that again, back in the 90s, a lot of the brands were kind of maxi this and chemical that and so on. And what Biosynergy literally means is working with life, and that's the idea behind what we do. Is that what we're producing are supplements. They're not miracle cures. It's about supporting people in their goals. And some people need more support than others, depending on their age, their diet, exercise regime, and so on.
Yeah, and I think that's key. And I know we had a chat earlier on in the week, and the key thing to say to everybody is it's a supplement to your healthy lifestyle or your fitness journey. The one thing that this cannot do, it's not a miracle pill. If we created a miracle pill, we'd all be millionaires, and I would be on the terrace in a bikini, all zooped up.
You'd be unemployed, surely, because nobody would need a fitness trainer.
Well, I don't know. Don't say that. Yeah, no. We wouldn't want that anyway. But, you know, that is the absolute key. It's about including these into your lifestyle,
Yeah.
so that you can then either enhance the benefits of what you're already doing. You can't take away the fact that you have to eat healthy.
Correct.
You have to exercise. You know, it's not rocket science. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
What you are doing is you have created these incredible products that we're going to discuss in a minute that will complement that lifestyle.
Well, there's like an old adage, you know, abs are made in the kitchen. And it's, you know, it's a bit crass, but it's true. You know, what you eat does determine how you feel and also what you can achieve physically.
Yeah.
So a lot of the, you know, the things why we take up fitness is not necessarily for aesthetic reasons, but for health.
Yeah.
You know, so I was visiting my mum earlier. She's just done our DNA test, actually.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, she was kind of a bit shocked by some of the results. But then I was also explaining to her that for basically all of her life that I've known her, she was probably, until she had her first stroke and heart attack, she was a 40-a-day smoker.
Wowzers.
Never exercised. So she's in remarkably good, all things considered, she's done.
Yeah. She has. And you've got obviously incredible DNA then, because, you know, your genetics, to know that your mum has been through that journey and now she's done the DNA test. I mean, that links us great onto that. So can you share with us what she's shocked about with her results? What does she think?
Basically, that some of the things that she's been diagnosed with, like high cholesterol and so on, she you know, was shown in the DNA. But interestingly, she didn't have a propensity to heart disease.
Wow.
And I was explaining to her that what the DNA does, it looks at your genes, obviously, and they don't change from the day you're born to the day you die. We do have another test which kind of measures real-time thing. Okay. But the point is, because of her lifestyle choices, and which were bad,
yeah,
the smoking and the lack of exercise, she pushed against her own DNA.
Okay.
That resulted in her coming up with that. But the likelihood is, because she wasn't predisposed to it, she didn't suffer maybe as badly as somebody who would have done, okay, or had early in life as somebody who would have done. So what's interesting as well is she was told, she's also got to have a kidney transplant, but she was told, the DNA warned her about her kidneys, and it also said that she had really good bone density, which has also been borne true through independent medical testing. So right, what the DNA can do is, like I said to you the other day, it's a bit like we've all got a car, but we don't have the manual, and everybody's manual is completely individual. So I'm sure you've experienced this when you're training people. Some people will respond very well to high intensity training. Other people will respond well to strength training. Some people need to have a combination of both. Some people need more recovery than other people. And there isn't a one size fits all approach to health and well-being. And that's going to, I mean, there are some general things like rest, de-stress, hydrate. Oh.
Whoops!
But,
he's back in the room, guys.
Yeah, but there are, you know, things that are completely different about us. And again, you know, a lot of people now are choosing different lifestyles, whether that's veganism, vegetarianism, flexitarianism, and so on.
Flexitarianism, what is that?
A bit of everything. So depending on the choices you make, you may need supplements because you're not getting, so for example, you know, if you're following a vegan diet, there's usually a lack of protein and vitamin D and fat soluble vitamins, that they're needing to supplement with them. Because they're just not getting it from the food that they're eating. Whereas somebody who's perhaps having too much red meat are probably putting themselves at higher risk of heart disease because of cholesterol.
Yeah.
It's all about a balancing act.
Yeah, definitely. And I think kind of just to go quickly sort of recapping on the whole DNA thing, I think that the bit that resonates with me is to say that, you know, your DNA is your DNA, but the lifestyle choices that you make during your life are going to either influence them. And if you're already at high risk because you know genetically you're at high risk from heart disease, you could be this is the bit that always intrigues people when I say you could be the skinniest person, the fittest person, but guess what? Your DNA may say that you are at risk of heart disease or high cholesterol. And I try to talk that through to some of my clients. I go, oh no, I'm fine. And I think, oh God, you don't know. But obviously if they're living a healthy lifestyle, then they're going to keep that at bay. Whereas you could be the skinniest, fittest person and have no idea and eat like an absolute trough, and then you've suddenly increased.
There's fat you can see and fat you can't see.
Yeah.
Fat you can't see, which actually is the more deadly, because you can carry on down. You know, actually, we had a meeting with Jim the other day, and one of the PTs is ex-military guy, and he is like a whippet, but he's been warned that he holds a lot of visceral fat, and he's got to be really careful what he eats. So looking at him, you wouldn't think it was an issue at all, but actually his visceral fat is really high, so he's got to be really careful, despite you know what visually that you're seeing. And I think with a lot of people, sometimes you get people who I use the phrase skinny fat, so they look skinny, but actually being skinny isn't in itself a healthy situation.
No, exactly, because then you've got all the other things like the osteoporosis, the bone density and all that kind of stuff, and muscle mass and everything. So I think, I have got one of this is my little Blue Peter stage coming up here. So I've obviously got one of my DNA kits, and I haven't done it yet because I thought, do you know what, I knew we were coming on to do this. So what I will be doing is, after this chat, I'm going to do my DNA test. I'm going to send the results, and then I'm going to share the results to everybody on here on Fit&Well and also my page, because I think it's really intriguing for other people to understand what that can show. Because everybody might judge me and think, oh, okay, you're fit, you're this, what's it going to show? But I think the bit that I loved from you when we first spoke was you said, but Emma, it might show you that you don't need anything else, and that's really good as well. So this isn't about discovering some kind of major health issue. It's just knowing a bit more. And I always use the phrase like knowledge is power. And I think the more you know about your body and how it works, and the more information you can gain, which is why I wanted to do this chat with you, because I just think, you have knowledge that we should be sharing to other people. And if we can answer questions, that's what we do. And that's why I do what I do. The bit I loved, first of all, I couldn't open the box. And then I worked out how to open it, which I think, look, brilliant. Oh God, now I can't do it. And then so I know that I need to then download, you've got a specific kind of biosynergy app that I need to put onto my phone. And then I've got my little test tubes. It's not like a corona test, is it? I haven't got to shove anything up the nose. Or
I'm hoping you're not going to do the saliva bit whilst we're live.
No, I won't. I was going to, and then I thought, no, that's just a little bit too much. So that's what I will be doing. So afterwards, guys, if you're watching this, I will share my results, and then I'm assuming from the app perspective, that will then track me and tell me what I need and where my deficiencies are.
Correct.
And the other bit that I thought was great from you said most people that do those tests are showing kind of signs. Is it lack of vitamin D deficiency?
So that's, generally across the board, vitamin D is not, particularly again, if we go back to diet, if you're not eating certain foods, you're not going to be getting enough vitamin D, and that's particularly with vegetarians and vegans. And then also, we don't have that much sunlight in this country.
Got one arm in the sun.
You're just lucky. You're obviously paying much higher rent there because you. And also the fact that we've all been in lockdown as well, so a lot of us haven't been getting out as much as would have done normally, or going away, to get that day started. And vitamin D, somebody actually said to me, if it wasn't called a vitamin, it'd be called something, a must-have or an essential, because it's got such an important role on so many different body functions, whether it's your cognitive function, to your muscles, to recovery, to well-being. That it is truly an essential product that you need every single day. And it is really difficult to get sufficient amounts from your diet.
Yeah, and it's really interesting on that vitamin D thing. My grandfather, who's 95, and he's full, you know, he's really fit and he's strong and all that kind of stuff. He does a weight session with his little 1 kilo dumbbells every morning. He's amazing. But I also know that from taking them through their health issues, vitamin D is so important from their brain and their cognitive functions. But the question I have for you actually is, I always thought, you know, when you try and go and buy over the counter, you go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's and you can pick up your vitamin D. The one thing that I was told from a doctor was those aren't enough of a milligrams of kind of, you know, 1,000 milligrams or whatever it is says on the tin. Is that correct?
It depends. Look, there's individual things. So, for example, if you had a really vitamin D enriched diet, you wouldn't need one at all.
Okay.
Sadly, for most of us, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So, you know, with like most things, there is a balance between price and quality.
Yeah.
And there's lots of stuff, whether it's, you know, clothing or, you know, electronic goods or supplements, that sometimes you do get what you pay for.
Yeah.
For me, my belief is, particularly if you're on a fitness program and you're valuing your well-being, that it's the best and the most important investment that you can make is in yourself and in your own body, whether that's for purely selfish reasons or if you've got family. So, you know, got young children, if I'm not.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I think their late 40s and early 50s that I've discovered, and I know I fall into that category myself. They've got younger children, and all of a sudden, having had maybe their 30s when they were relaxing, all of a sudden, you're running around more so than you've ever done in your entire life. And you want to be the parent that can keep up with the kids. And that often is a reason why people in their middle ages, you know, well, not middle age, but, you know, their 40s, 50s and 60s, rediscover or join the whole fitness kind of first time because they want to add life to their years.
Yeah.
I think when you whether it's choosing a PT or choosing your supplements or so on, you know, you don't necessarily want to spend £1,000 an hour on a PT.
No.
Because that's not necessarily affordable for 99.9% of the population.
Yeah. I'd like to know the PT that's charging £1,000 an hour as well.
I can name a few. Anyway, the fact.
But no, I get that. So I think it is about, you know, it is what you're paying for, you know, and ultimately once you know what your body needs, then there is a way to increase that. So if we find we need more vitamin D, there's always a way to increase that into your diet. We've just had some really great comments. I just want to make sure that I read them out because I've got Seb for Chuff, which is a great name, and saying obviously this is when we were talking about the DNA test and it said like truly life-changing results and outcomes, which is just great testimony for what you're doing. And Jake Barton 94, hi Jake, was absolutely sort of made up and changed his whole approach to what he was doing. And I think I remember you telling me about one of the athletes that you were working with and you were trying to increase their performance and they did their DNA test, and what you discovered was actually the one thing that they were lacking in was their rest and recovery days. And I just found that fascinating because I was thinking, you know, you've got somebody that's in their prime and they're doing this, and actually the one thing you discovered was you need to rest, and they're going, oh, you know, that's great.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, and that is the interesting thing, you know, all of us think we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Some more so than others. In whatever area it is, whether it's our health, whether it's work or whatever, but every day is a school day. And I think that you've got to be prepared to make changes, whether that be, you know, in your personal life or your work life, and to understand that sometimes just because you've done something for a very long time, it's not necessarily meaning you have to carry on doing that thing. And it could be a bad habit like smoking. You go, I'm a smoker, and you've labeled yourself as that. But actually, if you really want to not be a smoker, as in my mum's case, it took a couple of heart attacks and a stroke, but she's now a non-smoker. 10 years now. So, you know, it's about understanding. I'm getting off point a little bit, but the fact is you always can improve, and sometimes that improvement can be massive and sometimes it can be marginal, but the impact can be enormous.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, all of those key things is the knowledge is power. The more you understand, the more you know. And that kind of beautifully links us on to the whole protein shakes. And, you know, I've been on your one here and I've got loads of questions. Look, we're obviously both chocolate fans, hun.
Yeah.
That's clearly, and it does taste delicious. And this sort of question and answer isn't about what does the watermelon taste like? You know, that's irrelevant. This is about, you know, the who's, what's, why's, and how you can use the protein shakes. Now, I've pretty much most of my training life used protein shakes as a post-workout kind of fuel.
Yeah.
Because my lifestyle is I'm kind of an intermittent faster. I intermittent fast most days. I train in the morning, so I train fasted, and then I preload post-workout, put one of those in. One of the questions I get asked all of the time, apart from will protein make me fat, and we'll come on to that in a minute, is should I be putting the protein shake in before the workout or after the workout?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and obviously it's not an unusual question by any means. So the thing about protein, most research suggests that 20% of your calories should come from protein.
Okay.
So it's an essential part of your diet in the same way that fats and carbohydrates are. So there's a number of reasons to take extra protein or a protein supplement. One is your diet generally is deficient. And whether it's by choice or design, you don't have time to prepare high protein foods.
Yeah.
So a protein powder can be a really good, convenient, low cost and effective way of just getting more protein into your diet. And that helps with everything from the health of your skin to your nails to your internal organs. As you exercise more, or you start exercising, your protein requirement goes up. So typically, if you're sedentary and you're female and you're under 30 kilos, which is probably quite a small demographic, you only need about 0.8 of a gram per kilo. So that's 2 grams a day. So that's like 2 chicken breasts.
Just about to say, because I always work on kind of with my guys, I do the whole hand thing as palm of protein.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going with. Okay, so that's 2 chicken breasts a day.
Yeah, so which is quite a lot if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's for somebody who's sedentary and pretty, well, possibly underweight at least, you know, sub 50 kilos. So what happens is as you start exercising more, you need more protein.
Okay.
Obviously, what you're doing when you're exercising is you're breaking down muscle tissue, you're creating micro tears. What you want to do is help repair that. And the way to repair that is through the building blocks of protein and muscle, which are your amino acids. And the best source of that is in a source of protein, because in a good quality whey protein, you'll get all your amino acids in there. Some proteins are not as what's called bioavailable. So that means readily absorbed and utilized by the body. Some proteins are not complete proteins in that they don't have every single amino acid in. So again, this goes back to your earlier point about value and cost. So some, you know, I've got a saying, 1 scoop of quality is worth 2 of cheap. Yeah. So anyway, I won't labour the point. But
no. I like that, and it is true. It's. I totally get that, and you know, the more I learn about nutrition, and I'm not a nutritionist. You know, I chose not to go because I think there are people that know it inside and out and leave those technical bits to the experts. But I understand enough to know that quality meat delivers different things and the same as quality veg, and I think that's exactly the same as the protein. So you know, you stipulating on your jars how much protein is in there, I did do a bit of due diligence, and some of the other stuff you're going, flip, there's hardly anything in that, it's made up of everything else. So I think that's a really valid point.
And then the other thing is that in order for a food to be labeled high protein, it only has to have, I think it's 12% of the calories come from protein. So ours, you know, at the premium end, this product here, which is my favourite, is 90.6 grams of protein.
Wowzers.
Per 100. So somebody could be selling something which is 12 grams per 100, and it's called high protein. So it's really important, a bit like with any food, that you read the label carefully and don't get bamboozled by the marketing and all the the flashy blah blah blah. You need to educate. It's very important to educate yourself as to what it is that you're getting for your money. The other thing is about your question in terms of when you should take the protein. So ideally, what you want to do is have regular protein throughout the day.
Okay.
Maintains that kind of optimum level for the body to function. If you're exercising that particular day, certainly having some about half an hour before training is good, because it's a source of it's giving you calories and energy to train.
Yeah.
Muscles fueled up. But then what a lot of people talk about, and a lot of the science talks about, is this sweet spot 20 minutes post-training. So within 20 your body is going into recovery and it's actively looking for amino acids to help repair and replenish what you've just done in your training session. And sometimes if you're not getting enough protein, you can actually go on a backwards cycle. So you could be training really hard, and what happens is every time you exercise, your body is breaking down fats and carbohydrates and protein as a source of energy. If it can't get that from your food, it starts looking elsewhere for it, and where it goes to is it goes to your muscle, and it starts breaking down the muscle to feed itself again. So you can end up in a situation whereby you're training harder and harder and you're losing more muscle and getting weaker, which is the opposite to what you want.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is you can put on, depending on the type of training, and I'm not going to cross over too much into PT because that's your expertise. If you're doing a certain type of training, you're going to put on a lot of muscle mass, whereas on another type of training, you'll be putting on lean muscle.
Yeah.
The more muscle that you have, the more ability you've got to burn fat more efficiently, because muscle requires more calories to sustain itself than fat.
Yeah.
So the more lean muscle you have, not only are you stronger and fitter, but you're becoming a more effective fat burning machine.
And that's the key, isn't it? Is understanding what happens in your body and what, when I talk to, so if I look at my demographic of people that I mainly kind of train, it's mainly men and women in 35 to sort of 50. Most of them want to be on a weight loss journey. I'd say 50% are on the weight loss journey and 50% are on, I want to get stronger, because we now understand about strength, and we know about, it's not about being skinny. People are going, oh God, I want muscles. And, lots of my clients had never lifted weights before and now are all utter, they're totally into their weights training, which is brilliant. But we're not talking heavy. And that kind of, their biggest fear is, oh my God, Ems, if I put this protein shake in, I'm going to bulk up. And you're like, no, because we don't do that training to bulk up. And, they're already on, a good, healthy diet. They're eating well, they're intermittent fasting, they're having loads of protein, loads of veg, they're only having carbs if they've earned them. They're my kind of theories that I teach my clients is, you've got to earn your carbs, you need to, it's ultimately about calories. And that brings me on to the whole thing about calories, because we all know if somebody is on a weight loss journey, it is about calories in versus calories out. Yeah. And another question always is, oh my God, but that could be an extra X amount of calories in my day.
Yeah.
My argument to that is, but you've earned that. If you've trained fasted, you need to refuel, you need to repair your muscles, you need to put the protein in, and the calories that you're putting in through the shake, are good calories. I mean, we talk about marketing, and it's really, I told you that I'd be really open and honest with you, because one of the questions I had is, the statement is, skinny protein. Is that really bad that you're promoting skinny protein, and the words that protein doesn't make you fat? And I obviously fought straight back and say, but that's what it is, because this is a lower caloried protein shake, isn't it?
We also, the whole idea, but the skinny's got some negative connotations. But I always think about, a skinny latte. It's telling the customer that it's got less calories.
Yeah.
But I guess it's semi-skim milk as opposed to full fat milk.
Yeah.
And with the skinny protein, what you've got is a low fat, low carbohydrate, high protein product.
Yeah.
And then we've actually also added some other ingredients in there, like chromium, which is very important for regulating your blood sugar level.
Right. Okay.
Who are training can often get like a sweet tooth.
Yeah, it's me.
And then you've also got B vitamins in there as well, which help with energy and protein synthesis. But what you have in our product is any artificial colours, flavours, preservatives or sweeteners.
Yeah.
Made here in the UK from grass-fed dairy. So, and all our packaging is recyclable and upcyclable. But I mean, to me, it's all about, you know, we're a very well-established brand. We've been going for 24 years. But we've
award-winning as well. Yeah. Award-winning.
2 awards, thankfully, over the years.
Yeah.
But for me, it's all about, you know, I'm a consumer as well as the founder. So, and I give this to my kids. I give this to my mum. You know, and I've got to believe in what it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've got no issue with, you know, I like to see what something is. So, if, you know, and I am a woman that doesn't want to bulk up, doesn't want to put on weight. So I am one of those people that would go, oh, I better go for the skinny protein because it's got less calories in it. Or if there was, you know, and what I think is great about your website and everything, it's totally transparent. So anybody that doesn't know, you know, what kind of product they're looking for, you know, you guide them through really clearly. So it says, you know, how often you're exercising, what are you looking to do? Is it lean muscle mass? Is it wanting to bulk up? And I think those signposting is really key to any product, because that's often not the case.
Yeah.
People are going, oh, it's whey protein, but you don't know what's in it. And I think, you know, why I wanted to sort of work with you and support with you kind of on your journey was because I believe in it as well. And I've always been totally transparent with anything that I do. It's not about commission. It's not about a sales tool. It's about saying this product is clean. It's made in the UK. You can ask us any question you want and we'll answer it openly and honestly. And I think, you know, the bits that you've covered off to say, depending on your journey and depending on what you're looking to do, but there is always something for everybody, you know. And I've got your lovely little gummy bear supplements, which are brilliant, you know, about nails and hair and skin, because, you know, I have got eczema, I suffer with dry skin, I need to put, you know, extra supplements into me from that perspective.
Yeah.
And they're great. And, you know, it's just understanding more. And I think the key bit is protein doesn't make you fat. No. Of course, if you were drinking protein shakes and using them as a supplement to normal food, I wouldn't be recommending that. Would you be recommending that?
I think it depends on the need state. So, for example, you know, if you've got somebody who's in very advanced years and they've got sarcopenia or like that, then yes. I
put my grandmother on protein shakes when she was at her final stages of her life, because she couldn't take anything, obviously eat anything else in, and my mum actually in her final stages, because I know that what she was getting in was going to be the good nutritional calories.
I think, if the option is have a protein shake or a Mars bar, or a protein shake or a really bad sandwich from a petrol forecourt, I'd have the protein shake. Yeah. If you want something as a snack to keep you going, you know, during, you know, instead of having, you know, a muffin and a coffee, protein shake, I think it's about making sensible swaps, if you like. Yeah. It's not about, oh, I'm not going to have a balanced diet, I'm just going to drink this. Yeah. Okay, you know, there's worse things you could do. Yeah. But I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be my go-to thing. I think, you know, good quality whole food trumps everything. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, even if you're doing that, you still need help. Getting your different things, whether it's your vitamins, your protein, even carbohydrates. You know, some aren't getting enough carbs, believe it or not.
No, I know. And this is the other thing, isn't it? Because everybody kind of, it's, you know, old school mentality is no carbs before marbs, you know, and everybody's going, carbs are bad. And I'm like, no, you need the carbs, but you need to know when to put them into your body. Which is why I talk about the whole earn your carbs, and you can have the carbs. You know, I eat everything. I'm just careful about when I eat it. And my portion sizes are big, but where I've found the benefit of having this protein is exactly the same, what you said there. You know, we all live busy lifestyles, and often, you know, the school run, the 4 o'clock hit, oh my God, where you can be tempted to grab the kids' snacks and shove them in because you're starving. I've now introduced having one of those at that stage, because I know I'm teaching again later on in the evening. And I'm not worried, and I haven't put on any weight from having, you know, 1 or 2 protein shakes a day and eating the same. And that's what I've been sharing with my guys. And what I have found is less of a bloat, and I'm not as hungry.
Yeah. And
So
why we launched the DNA is we want to give people the personalized insight. So I'd rather people buy nothing than buy the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But if they do need something, you know, then you should take it. And it's not for, if you know, and it's for your benefit ultimately.
Yeah.
Because you want to be, you know, the other thing, we used to have an ambassador, and he passed away when he was 98, but he discovered exercise when he was 60. He never did, so it was even a later bloomer than me. And he was always going on about adding life to your years. So fortunately, most of us will probably live well past, you know, what our grandparents did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't want to be relying on other people to get you around and things like that, you know, please God. So you know, a lot of people now are, you know, they're not retiring until their 70s, so they've got 20 years potentially, maybe even 30, of still enjoying a very full life. And the fitter that you are throughout your life and continuing into, you know, your 70s, 80s, 90s, even your 100s, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You know, my dad is 73. He trains with me 3-4 times a week. You know, I make sure that he's eating a good quality protein diet. But actually, I keep saying to him, Dad, you should have some of these shakes. You know, he plays tennis, he's splash on the squash court. And actually for him to refuel and to keep his muscle mass up, and that's what's really important, because obviously the older we get, the degeneration of your muscle is quite apparent. And, you know, I talk about bone density from lifting weights and all this stuff. So I think, you know, everything you've said totally resonates with me. I just hope that we've cleared some questions and some answers up with everybody else as well, because not many people talk frankly about the percentage of protein needed. So, you know, I think that's a take-home message for anybody, is to read a label and, you know, look at what quality of protein is in the product that says high protein, because on the shelves at the moment, it drives me nuts in the supermarket with all the new cereals that have gone high protein, even the chocolate bars that have said high protein and this. And your bit about actually you can just have 12 grams of protein in something and they can market it as high protein, just like flipping heck, you know, how does the world work like that?
And also you have to look at the ingredient list and say, you know, if it's not stuff, I mean, some of the stuff, like some of the vitamin names sound like a chemistry set, but, you know, that's just the full name for a vitamin. So like thiamine or pyridoxine or so on. But if there's things in there that, you know, gums and sweeteners and artificial colorings and E numbers and so on, you probably want to swerve it.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Definitely. Yeah, anything artificial is kind of, you don't need that flavor in there.
Absolutely. And I think, again, you know, it is really, it's a minefield for people who haven't got the benefit of a PT or a nutritionist, or there's so much information we're bombarded with about. And, you know, and what I don't ever want to see is people avoiding protein because there's been so much misinformation that they think it's a bad thing. You know, it's really, you know, I can't drill home how important, you know, a balanced diet is. And protein is a really important part of that balanced diet.
Exactly. And I think, you know, we're going to be wrapping up in a minute, but one of the bits we touched on at the top was about, you know, your veganism, your flexinism, or whatever that was. I'm like, wow, I've school day today, you know, and that is key, because I have got a few vegan clients, and it's always really difficult when I talk about high protein diets, and they're like, you know, it's really difficult. So I think, you know, your shakes for the vegans would be a really good thing for me to introduce them, to say this is how you're going to increase that protein.
I mean, again, you know, obviously we do a vegan product which is basically pea isolate.
Okay.
And again, it's up free from artificial colours and flavours and
Yeah.
what. But most of our product range, except for where it's dairy based, is suitable for vegans and vegetarians, because why wouldn't it be? And again, one of the things that annoys me is people like coming out with things and say, "Oh, it's vegan," but of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
So, and again, I think, you know, back to the DNA thing. Again, that can help you if you are thinking about changing the type of diet that you're following. It could be worth taking a DNA test. It might be that actually you need lots of fat soluble vitamins in your diet specifically for you. So if you're going to go vegan, you need to perhaps have something in place to bridge that gap that you're going to be by following that different lifestyle and different eating habits. But similarly, it might be the best thing for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got, you know, a couple of my ladies who've gone vegan, and actually they've lost weight, they look amazing, and they've followed a full vegan diet. But the concern now is they are slightly older and their muscle mass is increasing. So that's why I was thinking, you know, actually what they should be doing is taking the increase in the protein through supplements. And so it's looking at everybody's individual journey. One of the products that I'm desperate to try is your the green tea one, and it's got nothing to do with Callum Best promoting it. If we can ever arrange a meet up on that one, with but I just thought I really liked the sound of the green tea, and it's kind of like that pre-workout boost, isn't it?
That's it. I mean, again, you know, there's lots of. No, we do some very, you know, impressive pre-workout drinks, which, you know, for the guys that are really throwing around the weights and so on. But everybody does do that. So again, it goes back to this not having a one-size-fits-all approach. That different ways of achieving the same goal, and that goes to the products as well. So like some of our products are in powder, some is in capsules, some are in other formats. You know, the gummies, for example. There's a lot of people that. You know, my kids, again, being a good example, I don't really want them swallowing a tablet. They think that the other kiddie ones are a bit too kiddie now. So a gummy, which was also vegetarian and vegan, is a really nice alternative for people.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? I hadn't even thought about that, because I've got a daughter who's very picky. She's 12 years old, very picky with her food. And, you know, I'm always on about, she knows about proteins and all that kind of stuff. And I've just suddenly thought, actually, I should be giving her a gummy of some sort to have. I mean, she does do the odd protein shake. She's been dancing for 2 hours. So the first thing she'll have when she gets back is she'll have a shake. So I just think it's been so interesting. I could sit and chat with you for hours. And I'm conscious that Fit&Well might kick us off because we've taken up 45 minutes of their time. But I honestly know that you've helped so many people that are listening to this live, but also the ones that have gone back and catched up, because it's going to be saved on the IGTV. And I think there's loads of little tweaks we can do. But ultimately, after this, I'm going to sort of say, if anybody's got any questions, are you happy for them to comment below and you can get back to them? And the best bit for anybody watching, if anybody does want to try any of the Biosynergy products, I'll be sharing a discount code and you can get 20% off. It's made in the UK, it's with you within the week. And seriously, got any questions, please feel free to ask myself and Daniel. And I hope it's helped. Make you feel strong.
Make it happen.
Outside, get the guns out. Whee! Brilliant, you're an absolute star. Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it.
Team into Fit&Well as well.
Thanks so much. Yeah, take care. See you soon. Thanks very much, everyone.